Bom bom bom
Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. This is what you are, kaukweka sahoka. This is what you are, kaukweka sahoka. Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha.
The National Skills Competition Ongwediva 2023 has seen significant potential because of its ability to address Namibia's severe issue of youth unemployment while at the same time fostering holistic growth. Now, the conference not only improves the prospects as well as the well-being of Namibia's young people, but it also contributes to the nation's economic growth, innovation and sustainability by, amongst others, focusing on youth development empowerment, exploring emerging sectors, embracing technological advancements, and also promoting entrepreneurship. A very good evening and a warm welcome to the grand finale of Skills Talk. Tonight is our last edition, coming to you live here from Ongwediva in the mighty Oshana region. I respond to the name Denver Kisting and our sign language interpreter for this episode, none other than Madame Salma Moses. Now tonight we take a look at the skills competition roundup and also a peep, perhaps a preview on what is next. And to help me unpack these and related matters, I'm joined by an esteemed panel. Madam Justina Itembu, this evening joining us in her capacity as the chairperson of the Competition Committee World Skills Namibia. Good evening to you, Madam, and welcome to Skills Talk.
Good evening, Timva, and thank you very much.
It's a delight to have you.
Thank you.
We're equally happy to be joined this evening by Mr. Antonio Hilsebesha, World Skills Africa 2022 champion. Good evening to you, sir, and welcome to Skills Talk.
Yes, good evening. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure for us to have you. And last, but certainly not least, we're joined by Mr. Valitel Demwimba, Chief Expert Megatronics. Good evening to you, sir, and welcome to Skills Talk.
Good evening, Namibia. I'm happy to be here.
Namibia is happy to have you. While you have the floor, what has been the highlight for you this past week?
It has been quite a long week, but it was definitely worth it. So there have been a lot of activity going on from different skills area, and I'm proud to say that the execution of the event went okay. And
Just okay.
that's an underestimation.
Yes.
It went well, very well. And I'm so proud of the team and different stakeholders who were engaged during the activities.
Very well. Mr. Hilsebesha, what has been the highlight for you the past week?
Getting to see the competition or the different skill areas compete at the national level really brought light to a lot of things. A lot of things that I've seen differences in, and yeah, man, it was a good experience. It was a good experience. I wish that I could be part of it again, but
You've had your turn, sir.
Yes, I
We
did,
should
I
not
did.
be greedy, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can serve as a mentor.
Yeah.
I'm sure your guidance, reflecting on your own experience and how you managed to accomplish what you did,
Yes.
certainly will be very helpful and useful.
Yes.
Madam, you've seen it all, one is tempted to say, but every experience is indeed unique. We've touched base a bit on the nation's most revered breakfast show, Good Morning Namibia, this morning. But for those tuned in to Skills Talk this evening, what have been the highlights for you this past week?
Yes. First, thank you very much. For me, really, I think, as Antonio just alluded to, he wished to be in it again.
Yes.
That already speaks volume. I mean, it's such an exciting moment to be for a competitor. So for me, my highlight was that the excitement that I could see within the workshops and the eagerness to get to the top of their game, really, for the competitors. That was one of the highlights for me. And also the fact, really, I'm just overjoyed by the fact that we have an engagement of the young people, much younger than the previous competitions. Yes.
I want to say the following to you. Having been just on the periphery, I could see how tangible the excitement was. And it felt like I wanted to get my hands dirty as well and get involved. So I want to say it indicates that you've been doing good work. It indicates that you've been able to entice Namibians who are on the periphery as well to get involved in one way or the other. Ultimately, we do want more people to get involved, whether it is as funders or whether it's as apprentices or as trainers ultimately. So I think that goal has certainly been accomplished.
Yes, no, that goal definitely has, I would say also it has been accomplished because the amount of engagements on the ground, be it through the spectators watching the competitions going on, be it through the exhibitors that are exhibiting and the public and the viewers coming in imploring and exploring what is happening, be it through the communications or the information sharing there at the conference. We are only looking forward, of course, to recommendations from the attendants so that implementation can then kick in.
Yes, it was also very good to see so many high school pupils around. And we also know some high
And
school pupils
primary school.
participated this year, indeed. One highlight today was the Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, Madam Ita Kanji-Murangi, toured the premises. Let's take a brief look at that experience. Welcome back. You tuned into Skills Talk. It's our last episode. That, of course, was Dr. Itakanji Murangi. She is the Minister responsible for higher education, technology, and innovation. Today is the final day before the winners are announced. And it would appear very close to us that some participants are already celebrating. And one does wonder, Madam Itembu, whether or not they are perhaps celebrating prematurely.
Yes, what you can hear from the background is a celebration of achievement. Everybody feels like they've won because they really indeed have already won. The experiences shared there are massive. So the competitors at this stage are busy closing up their competitions, the last modules of the different skills areas. Some have already finished, but we have some that are just finishing now. Hence, we have a background of a lot of cheers because they are cheering up on the final completion of the last module for the day.
I love what you said this morning. Every participant already is a winner. And the celebration, of course, makes sense at this stage. And they've worked hard the past week.
Yes, they've worked hard in the past week, and everybody feels like they've won. Not just that they feel, but they indeed have grasped a lot. They have gained through engaging with the others a lot of experiences. They've shared a lot of motivations and inspirations. So who would not have? Who would it be that would not feel that they are winners?
Yes,
so indeed,
yes.
Everybody is a winner when they participate in these events.
Mr. Hilsebesha, please tell us a bit of your story, having been the 2022 champion.
So it was quite rough in the beginning because I wasn't sure what is expected of me to do. I didn't really know much about electrical installations, what it takes. But as I started training, as I started my training before the African Skills Competition, it really brought new light to what it is or what it means to be a World Skills competitor for Namibia, and having to be there at the competition and take part in it was also one of the biggest achievements of my life, as I never really saw myself in that position in which I could compete against other countries.
And the viewers are privy to some of the highlights on their screens at the moment.
So yeah, it was quite a big experience for me. Continentally and internationally, it was a very, very big experience.
That's no small feat.
It's not.
Was there a lot of money involved?
Yes, there was as well. There was.
Very well. Perhaps for those viewers who are not privy with the particulars, which discipline did you participate in?
I participated in the electrical installation. In which we got to install a domestic installation which had to do with building automation, and also an industrial automation panel which has to do with PLCs, programmable logic controllers. Yes.
Wow. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
It's a pity you couldn't participate again this year.
This year, yeah.
Yeah. So, some may not be familiar with the mechanics of mechatronics. Walk us through what it entails, please.
By definition, it's a combination of mechanical, electrical, and computer science. So it's quite a young discipline. It was just a history maybe about the discipline. It came around maybe 1971 from a Japanese engineer when I think it was Yaskawa company started integrating robots in the production line. Then it gained popularity throughout, and as we speak now, is where the manufacturing industry is moving toward. So at the World Skills, when we speak about mechatronics, we are focusing on industrial automation, to be specific, factory automation. For example, if you have seen our workshop area during the broadcast, you see that there's a simulation of a mini production system, which is just a subset of mechatronics, and it's just that it's a matter of resources that is being a bit prohibitive for us to have the full scale mechatronics. It's quite a bit of expensive skill, but in a nutshell, it's just it's automation, and there has been now this word, the fourth industrial revolution, is linked to that.
Hearing you say, thank you for that overview. Hearing you say that it's quite an expensive discipline. What is your observation in terms of the manner in which young Namibians take up space within the mechatronics world in terms of cost? And we would like to increase access ultimately in terms of the revised TVET policy.
In terms of private sector, the private sector, as far as the industry is concerned, is doing quite good, but still we are a little bit behind. But let me speak on public sector. We are very, very behind. As if you see, we don't have mechatronics in our curriculum. None of our curriculum is serving mechatronics.
Are you referring to our high school curriculum?
High school, university, we do not offer mechatronics. As we speak, I'm a self-taught person.
Trainer?
Yes, I don't have qualification in mechatronics. I was never trained. I don't have a paper to say this is for you being a mechatronic person. That just indicates how behind we are, and we need to do a lot. Like I said, the manufacturing industry is moving toward this direction, yet we are not doing anything.
Are you saying we don't have one single mechatronics trainer in this country?
I can tell you that. I can justify that. We have, for example, at NAST, we have in the books, in the prospectus book, it appears as an elective only, which is not offered.
Are we not doing enough as a country? And how will it cost us if we don't start investing in this subsector?
Being an economy that's based on job creation, we are really behind, and we have to prepare our young people or just our workforce to be able to understand these systems. Because if we, for example, we are to attract the biggest employer, that's a manufacturing industry, the automakers, if they don't even see mechatronics in their curriculum, they will be like, why should we open our factory in Namibia? Who is going to maintain our
Thank you. Madam Itembo, very serious statements that the gentleman is making. What do you make of that? And why, if you do concur, are we lagging behind in the subsector?
Yes, that is really a serious one indeed. And look, the reason why we're having this type of competitions, and maybe I should have also indicated one of the highlights for me for this competition is that for the first time at the national level, we are including engineering-based skills to expose these skills and say we have it. We just need to unleash the potentials in it, in the youth, and also to unleash in the potentials in what the Namibian economy can also do, so that we can upgrade where we are not, from the stage where we are now, to make sure that we integrate this into our curriculum. So it's something that definitely should be considered for when we are budgeting for the education sector, and when we are planning and developing the curricula, to make sure to include this. And this was one of the platforms that brought together the policymakers, the curriculum developers, to see to it that yes, this is something that is amazing and it's needed and it's important for the economy of the country.
With the input of the self-taught experts as well.
With the input of, and in fact, one of the things is, you see, that is one of the reasons we don't. For the national skills competitions, or for skills competitions, there's no requirement of educational background. Let me say, what we are doing here is promoting the skills. You don't have to have a paper to have a skill, but you got to acquire a skill somehow. The paper does not say it's a skill, but it only qualifies you to go somewhere to a level. But otherwise, you can really have a skill without the paper.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
He's saying he has the skill, but he was not taught by anybody, but he made sure to get that skill. So it's up to the youth, to the young Namibian really, to make sure to acquire the skill in one way or another. But we should not only leave it in the hand of the youth. Our government really have to come in and step in and say, this is where we need to tap in, make sure we get enough funding for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mr. Hilsbecher, with your national regional, continental, and international exposure. What do you make of what it is that we are lacking locally and that we need to capacitate if our ultimate goal is to reduce unemployment among the youth in general, but specifically among TVET graduates?
I personally feel that not enough awareness is spread, or there are not enough systems in place that spreads awareness about world skills and what TVET has to offer for the younger youth. Because of my experience last year, when it came to world skills, or even before I got an opportunity to start training or preparing for world skills, I didn't know much about it. So I just feel like that's something that we lacking the awareness, because not a lot of people know about it, and even when it comes to TVET as well, people look down on it because they feel that it's something that people venture into, the people that didn't make it in school, that are not academically fit to go to NAS.
Is that true or not?
It's not true. As I said here, I did great in high school, but I still studied at the vocational training center and it did me very good. It brought me this far. I'm an African champion. So I'm living proof that the system does work and that it is the future of our country.
That's an
And the
important
world as well.
message. Perhaps you can share with us what do you believe needs to be done, and if we're talking about TVET in general, not only on mechatronics, how do we need to go about to champion such stories? How do we need to go about to create more awareness and also to dismantle this stereotype that exists? Only those who got ungraded in high school will be welcomed at a VTC.
Okay, we have to start with the parents. You know, the parents are the biggest problem all. For
Are your
example,
parents tuned in?
I have no idea. I did not inform them. I was so busy. The thing is, the parents, they take their kids as trophies. I want, when I go to my fellow fathers, I say, he's a doctor. You see, even if he does not want to be a doctor. So giving a little bit of liberty to our kids to pursue their passion might just improve the system. And again, some observations I have made when I was at the workshop, people are sending the wrong people in this event, right? Again, even though I might repeat the trending stereotype already, I've seen that they're sending now the high performers who want to be a doctor. I don't think it's right for you to send a kid who wants to be a doctor to a TVET, because he's just coming and he'll pass.
But relating to your earlier point about the critically important role that parents play, if a 17-year-old says he or she wants to pursue a career in medicine, how do we know that that is not the influence of their parent? How are we actually going to deal with the root cause and engage? Because I think parents also encounter peer pressure. Their friends would say, my son is a lawyer, my son is a doctor. And they won't say, guess what, my son is a boilermaker and he loves it. So if that 17-year-old alleges that, it could very well be that it's the influence of the parents.
That's true. In my opinion, I think we put the kids under pressure when they finish high school. They don't know what's out there, number one. They only know those high-profile ones because, after all, it's what is marketed. I think the solution would be just to allow a little bit of time after high school, maybe a year. I really don't know the solution also, but
What are you doing as an individual to contribute to the awareness?
I create awareness by just proving the point that you don't have to do something because of, for example, someone saying that, or because of the money, because you can make money out of anything that you're good at. So I have few friends who are doing good in TVET, and I showed this man here, he just did TVET.
Very well.
In TVET, and look at him.
Thank you. Madam Aitembu, would you say one of the overarching aims of the competition is to create that awareness, to dismantle the stereotype and to make sure that there's a greater uptake, especially if we have regard to some of the emerging industries, such as green hydrogen, of course, such as oil and gas?
Yes. If we are to really concentrate and focus on growing the economy, we have to make sure to grow the skills, because the economy needs the skills. And we know very well all the countries that have developed really well. It's because of the TVET sector that is doing well. So the TVET sector just need a little push, and this is one of the platforms for that push, to create that kind of a push.
Are you able to contextualize to the viewers what it is that we're hearing in the background? Is it a door? Is it a wheelbarrow? Is it a grinder?
There's a lot of skills around this building. We are closing up the skills areas, so there's some doors shutting, of course, to the workshops. So yeah, I'm hoping that we are audible.
I believe we are, for the moment at the very least. So at what stage exactly are we in terms of the final cut-off?
For the competition?
Yes.
At this stage, we have only experts who are the judges marking the final modules of the day and entering the marks onto the system so that we can have the marks released and ready for announcements tomorrow.
So will auditors also have a look once this current process is completed?
The chief experts in the various skills areas confirm the marks, because they are not the ones that are entering the marks. The marking was done by the different experts around the skill areas, and then they are entered by the volunteers just to assure fairness. And then the the chief experts then have to verify that yes, these are the marks that we have given.
In terms of governance and due diligence, I think that's quite an important step to highlight. Yeah.
Yes.
So we understand that having been crowned the continental champion certainly opened up a number of doors for you. Would you like to tell us more about that, please?
Okay.
You're allowed to seem happy about it.
Yeah. In terms of personal
Growth?
can I say? Yeah, personal growth. It has instilled a lot of confidence in me, and it has also allowed me to look forward to sharing my experiences with the people that competed now. Because I remember when I arrived, people were looking so forward to meeting me and getting to see them and just explain to them or take them through the whole process, what the expectations are and what they're supposed to do in there. Was honestly one of the things that I liked most about this competition, because I could openly share my views and opinions and also my experience with the people that competed now. And they really showed up, and then they really showed me that they listened to what I had to say. And
What
I
are some of the
guided them.
tips that you shared? Provided they are family friendly.
Okay, I just told them to focus on what they're doing and not to compare their work to other people's work, so that they don't lose focus, and so that they can also plan on or do thorough planning for the next day. Because in this competition, or especially in our skill area, electrical installation, planning is very important, because that will help or determine whether you make it in time or not. So that's something that I pointed out to them. And also the other thing is, in terms of marketing, a lot of people have approached me and asked me whether they would be able to have the devices that I exhibited during this week, whether they could have that at their homes, and what it would take for them to have that. So also that also, helped a lot. Or
Do you have patent rights on those devices?
no,
Does that not scare you?
no, it doesn't really.
Why not?
The thing is, can you ask the question again? Sorry.
Are those innovations patented? In other words, who holds the right to that intellectual property? Because it's very valuable.
Okay, the thing is, Nampower actually purchased them, so they're Nampower property. So we use them at our training center to practice with in preparation for the international competitions. And it is something that I look forward to also purchasing myself, and maybe starting a business out of it. So yeah, it's still something that's.
And there's a market?
Yes. Now that they've seen what it does,
Yes.
and they've been exposed to it, I believe that it will become a big thing.
Very well. So now that we have Megatronics at this level, despite the gaps, despite the lapses, despite the challenges, and having observed the students, the participants, what do you make of what the future looks like?
The future for mechatronics looks very, very bright. And I would like to thank Justina for that, because if I'm to just give you a little bit of the background how it started, it was just me and the two competitors that took part in the African competition, of which they managed to win the gold, the first place. They really started investing at the beginning. We did not have any equipment in Namibia at that time, so we had to go to turn to South Africa, and they have continued to do that. This skill could be as a demonstration like some other skills, but they chose to keep it in. That shows you that the future, in the future, I don't see any I don't see it coming down, and I will not let that happen. That's what I can guarantee you. So,
And you're not just saying it because she's here.
no, I think she knows that I will not.
Yeah.
I disturb her now and then. Let's keep this going, because now, at the point where we are now, we cannot stop anymore, because people, they'll ask, where is that skill which was in Ongwediva? So we just now have to maintain the momentum, and I have a feeling that few 2 to 3 years from now, at least one of our university or maybe one of our vocational training will have them in their curriculum.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Madam Ntembu, if we are to predict the future a bit, having made space for, amongst others, mechatronics, and you also said that was part of the highlight of this year's skills competition, that we were able to broaden the offering. What is it that we can look forward to in the future for a platform such as this?
Yes. In the future, really, NTA is looking to improving curricula. Most of the experts that are involved in these competitions are also curriculum developers. They contribute to the curriculum development. They contribute to the assessment of the curriculum as well. And these are just some of the takeaways from seeing what is being exhibited and showcased by the different competitors, the different equipment that we are making use of. It's a platform for them really to take with and say, we are now going to integrate this type of equipment into the curriculum, or we are going to change. There are some skills areas that are related to mechatronics, for example. It's a matter of widening it and broadening and say, we are also including a component to it. We have already started with including some components of mechatronics into the automobile. We have started doing that at some of the TVET centers as pilot. So these are just...
Do we then make use of trainers from outside the country, seeing that we don't have trainers at the moment?
The trainers, I wouldn't say much where the trainers are really coming from. But of course, we have a program of upskilling the trainers in the country. In most cases, we would partner up and send the trainers outside just for them to get better skills and then coming back and implement.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When we spoke this morning, you also shared that the National Skills Competition takes place once every 2 years, and the idea is to take it to the length and breadth of this beautiful country. If we are to have a look at what this competition means for the economy of the Ashana region, for the economy of Ongwediva, how would you say the platform benefits also the inhabitants, the residents of the area?
Oh, gratefully. Really, because when we come to this, when we bring a competition, this is a big event. It's a big event that is attended by a lot of people. We have around about 600 delegates. That includes the competitors who are close to 200, more than 150. We have more than 100 experts. We have the volunteers. We have the different partners that are coming from other towns, other cities. including the NBC. You guys are a lot. I've seen a lot of NBC.
It's
people
ours.
here.
Yeah.
Yes, it's ours. So all these people really, I would say, contributed to the economy, even of the Ongwediva town, because in terms of accommodations, the hospitality industry, basically, we have made use of all the accommodations around here. We've made use of the restaurants. So we have contributed to the economy in that way. And some have also come to see and how to see in terms of how the future looks like for their businesses. So we have also investors that came to Ongwediva. So when we are taking these competitions to different towns of the country, we are making sure that we don't just focus the economy in one town, but the economy is widespread by the types of movements that we are making and the types of skills that we are taking out there.
Certainly no small feat.
Not at all.
You, dear viewer, also participated on our various platforms. You said what you had to say about your take on TVET in general, but also the National Skills Competition and the conference. So we'll now take a brief look at some of these comments. Kahuva says TVET plays a key role in any society when it comes to providing qualified labor for the economy, as well as transitioning young people from learning to earning. As the education sector closest to the labor market, I'm sure you're proud to hear that, TVET is designed to tackle current as well as future challenges by making people professionally capable and resilient to occupational changes in their lives, and to keep TVET relevant for the economy and our society. Carlos had the following to say: stakeholders should engage, Carlos says, all government agencies, non-profit organizations, Carlos says, communities and business-minded individuals to encourage TVET students through their educational schemes to gain knowledge on how to run small businesses and to empower them to become more independent and to start working for themselves. We upset calls for financial assistance to be offered to TVET graduates and to consider their business proposals. And then the last comment at this juncture, Lot says, creating opportunities and bridging the unemployment gap for young people in the sector requires a collaborative effort from all stakeholders. Lot says all stakeholders need to invest in the TVET sector and allocate sufficient funding and resources to strengthen institutions, update curricula, and provide modern equipment as well as facilities. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for those comments. What do you make of these comments specifically, and as far as it relates to enhanced funding? As we do know, it's not a cheap sector to develop in terms of the infrastructure investment, the trainers who need to be upskilled all the time.
In terms of funding, as I mentioned earlier about the awareness, I feel like there's not a lot of awareness spread. So not a lot of people know about the opportunities that come with TVET and taking part in TVET, TVET-related trainings and programs, and also world skills. So I feel like that limits us and also doesn't allow us to have access to as much opportunities as far as funding goes. So
do you believe that the private sector also has a responsibility to meet government halfway?
yes, I do.
Why are they not joining the party?
Because I'm honestly not sure.
What's your
don't really know
take
what's
on why the
going on.
private sector is not coming through?
It's more like it's a culture. You know, we do not wish to invest in R&D. At least maybe we are not at the level of the R&D, which is research. At least let's invest in development. It's because it does not bring the current profit to an organization. So business owners, they are not willing to spend on something that they are not going to see the profit at the end of the financial year. It's the mentality
Does that mean that we might be short-sighted as business people?
That's right. We really do not have long-term plans in terms of human resource development, which is very crucial. If you invest maybe the third, or, maybe 20% of your return into developing your people, I think it should be the solution from the private sector, all right? Because the private sector are the consumers of the skills. Of course, it's a mandate for the government to provide the industry with the workforce, but at the end of the day, it's the private sector that's more benefiting from that endeavor.
Also, very, very serious statements. Madam Itemo, just very briefly, so what will happen tomorrow?
Tomorrow is an exciting day. Everybody is looking forward to. I'm sure the Ongodiva community is aware that we are closing off the event officially tomorrow. We have a program lined up for officially closing off the event, which is the National Skills Competition, the exhibition, and also the conference together. But at the closing off, we are also awarding the winners of the competition. So we will be awarding the top 3 performers in each of the 14 categories, and then also, of course, we will have one overall winner award for the event. So yes, we're just looking forward.
So in about 24 hours.
In about 24 hours. Indeed.
Nail-biting moments at this stage.
Exactly, especially for the competitors.
I would imagine, and their mentors perhaps also.
Yes.
Yeah. Ultimately, the proteges matter to the mentor, else the relationship doesn't matter.
Yes, exactly. Of course, at this stage, I would like to see whether they are together, whether they were each in their own corners. But we have a next 24 hours of
Suspense,
yes.
amongst others.
and blood, racing, because it's.
Are there medical doctors on standby?
Yes.
Paramedics
yes,
at least.
There are paramedics on
Yeah.
standby, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've run out of time, unfortunately. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Exactly.
From your perspective, do you believe that there is indeed light at the end of the tunnel so that we can support the TVET sector to ultimately alleviate youth unemployment in this country, sir?
That's for sure. That's for sure. We just need to continue doing what we're doing right now and maybe just up our game. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And
In what way do we need to up our game?
we read, like the comments from the public, different
viewers.
the viewers, the different stakeholders need to come together and just invest in TVET sector.
And then we should win.
Excuse me?
And then we should win.
Of course,
Yeah.
victory is obvious.
Tapandula unene. So what do you believe needs to happen starting this evening to make sure that we capacitate the sector sufficiently to ultimately alleviate youth unemployment?
Okay, firstly, the fact that the people look down on TVET. I feel like that concept has to be looked past. People have to believe that skills are the future.
If someone
And,
says something degrading about TVET in your company or on the street, what do you do
What do I
generally?
do? So I'd approach them
Hey,
and explain to
Hey,
them
what
that
you say.
I am a product of Manpower Training Center,
yes,
and I have made a name for myself, and I've done great things.
look at you.
So you can't look down on training centers or vocational training centers, yes, and TVET as well.
Bye bye, donkey.
I see. So
Madam, you have the final word this evening. Does the future look as bright as these young minds claim?
Yes, no, the future really looks bright in my view. I'm looking at it from where we started with the National Skills Competition in 2016. If we are able to maintain and even grow, because the 2016 Ramatex competition wasn't as big as this, I would say. We kept growing. 2019, we increased the skills areas from 10 to 12. And today we are at 14 competitions of skills areas. So we keep growing. And obviously, that's just a show. It shows that we have a buy-in from our line ministry. We have a buy-in from the different government sectors and also the private sector. We have a lot of partners on board, and we keep growing. So for me, it looks good. We should just maintain or even do it better every time.
Thank you, Nene.
Thank
you
you
for
very
your
much.
time. Thank you for sharing your expertise. Thank you for your relentlessness. Thank you for your tenacity. Thank you for doing the things that needed doing all week. But it's not over yet. We are excited about tomorrow. And of course, the closing ceremony will also be aired on NBC One so that those who are not able to join physically can be privy to all the events as they unfold and hear who the team will be heading to France in 2024. And that brings us to the end of our final edition of Skills Talk for the year. Thank you very much for tuning in. Keep it locked here on NBC One. Do also follow the closing ceremony tomorrow on our social media pages as well as on NBC One. Good night.
Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. This is what you are, kaukweka sahoka. This is what you are, kaukweka sahoka. Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. This is what you are. Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha. Be a man of bravery, kaukweka seke kwaha.